everybody's favorite creator, MMObyte, has released MMORPGs I still actively play and genuinely recommend in 2024. I had to know. Because I know he has not played a whole lot of Black Desert. That's all I'm going to say. He's not played a whole lot of BDO.
Excuse me. You over there with the shirt on.
Same shirt.
Me? Yes, you. Have you
He's talking to himself, bro.
heard about
I was
the
like, what is he
critically
doing?
acclaimed MMO? Yes. That's a little bit rude. What is? You didn't even know what I was going to say, and you just proceeded to completely cut me off. You were going to ask me if I had heard of the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV with an expanded free trial, which you can play through the entirety of A Realm Reborn and the award-winning Stormblood expansion up to level 70 for free with no restrictions on playtime. No. Then what? Did you know that Final Fantasy XIV has an expand? Okay, you know what?
What a rat.
I'm leaving. No, wait, please don't go. Have you ever played Final Fantasy XIV? Yes. Oh, then what do you think of it? It's a really good game. Is this the only MMO that you play? Actually, I surprisingly play a few different MMOs. Really? Do you care to elaborate on what those other MMOs are? I mean, not particularly.
This is kind of a long bit to be doing with yourself.
Please.
I thought that this was like a one-off intro, bro. Is this the whole video?
Please. Will you leave me alone if I do? Yes? Fine. I've played a lot of MMORPGs. I feel like I've played every
Didn't quite make it to the end, boys.
single MMORPG that has ever released. The vast majority of them admittedly have not been very good. Nevertheless, there
This is Tony Tugo's favorite person.
are a select few that I continue to log into every single month. These are games that
Black Desert
are,
Online.
in my opinion at least, subjectively a lot better, a lot higher quality, a lot more fun. But I felt now, since it's the beginning of 2024,
No, you
is the
didn't.
ideal time to go over the MMORPGs that I genuinely play, starting with Final Fantasy XIV. Final Fantasy XIV is a pay-to-play, one of the very few pay-to-play MMORPGs.
I hear good things about Final Fantasy XIV. Mainly the quests are good, the raids are good, everything else you just skip unless you're ERPing in town.
Currently available online. This is arguably one of the highest quality MMOs that you will find. Utilizes a tap target combat system, has beautiful graphics.
Combat's
Although they are
mid?
looking
Yeah,
a little bit
that's what I
dated as
gathered,
of
yeah.
2024. The story is, admittedly, I wasn't the biggest fan of Endwalker. I thought it was a significant decrease in terms of quality over Shadowbringers. Shadowbringers was, I think, the pinnacle of the game. I think it is going to be impossible for Final Fantasy XIV to top Shadowbringers. The story overall, though, is an absolute treat. Players will tell you that the story in this game is one that you cannot skip, and if you do, you'll never hear the.
And that is why Black Desert players can't play it. This part of the story cannot be skipped. Black Desert's story, again, it can't be skipped, but because they force us to watch it. It's awful. It's like they chain us to the bed.
The end of it, even though at times the story is a little bit convoluted. The world is beautiful, there's a lot to see, there's a lot to do, there's a lot to explore. The game is partially voice acted. There are new expansions that come out every 2 years. There are new patches that come out every X amount of months. There is an incredibly competitive PvE scene with arguably some of the most difficult PvE raids that you'll find. I haven't really delved very deeply into the PvP because it's something that I've never really enjoyed in Final Fantasy XIV. The class system, the job system is quite extensive. You can level every single class on a single character, which means there's no need for additional or alternate characters, which is a stark contrast to the next MMO in this list, World of Warcraft, which just so happens to also be a pay-to-play MMO. I think the only other pay-to-play MMORPG available right now online. I know there are a couple others that are looking to be pay-to-play, packs alternate characters. World of Warcraft, which just so happens to also be a pay-to-play
Yeah.
I know there are a
I
couple
mean, of course World of Warcraft.
others that are looking to be pay to
Honestly, most people recommend World of Warcraft
play.
Classic,
PAX
though.
Day is going to be pay to play. Ashes of Creation is going to be pay to play, which means that there is going to
You know that this is retail because you don't know what the hell is happening.
be a subscription fee.
Asmon said that first, and I was like, oh, that's true. I can't ever tell what the hell is happening.
You need to pay monthly. But World of Warcraft is essentially Final Fantasy 14, but a more cartoon version of it. Like, and it's not necessarily even a cartoonified version.
Oh, Jesus, bro. He's going to get a lot of hate for that.
It's just a completely
Comparing WoW to Final Fantasy and just saying it's more cartoony. Oof.
different graphical style that will appeal to a certain demographic of players, while will also not appeal to players on the opposite side of the spectrum that prefer more anime or more Eastern inspired characters.
Nah, if I want anime or Eastern inspired characters, I'm playing Genshin Impact. Let's be honest.
Final Fantasy 14, like PSO2, World of Warcraft is a completely open world MMO, just like Final Fantasy 14. Although Final Fantasy 14 has segregated zones, World of Warcraft doesn't. You have entire continents that are traversable without loading screens, but to travel between them, there is a loading screen that you need to navigate between. This game
Blue
has
Protocol?
the
Yeah, I was talking about games that didn't suck, though.
largest population in an MMO. This is partially due to the fact that there is World of Warcraft, the live server, there is World of Warcraft Classic, there are multiple different versions of WoW that coexist alongside one another that all use the same subscription. Therefore, they continue to bolster the cumulative total number of players, allowing for WoW to achieve numbers that no other MMO can. This is a tab target MMO, much like Final Fantasy 14, but where Final Fantasy 14 is perceived by a lot of players to be very slow, World of Warcraft is the exact opposite. WoW
I don't know if Final Fantasy is considered slow. I think its raid combat is really quick. But like, I've not played Final Fantasy 14. I just watch hundreds and hundreds of hours of its content. So like, but the combat, like, it looks like it's going pretty fast. But like, you can't call WoW fast if Final Fantasy is slow. I feel like they're roughly the same speed, right? Like,
WoW has very fast tab target combat.
Final Fantasy's slow comparison to WoW. Interesting.
WoW, along with probably Arcade and
It feels much slower. Okay, I'll take your word for it. It just doesn't look that slow.
Has some, if not the best tab target combat you will find in an MMO. There is no greater MMO than WoW when it comes to combat. Not just combat. The world.
No. Back it up. Well, we misheard him. That's all that happened. We just misheard him. There's no reason. Everybody put your pitchfork down. We just misheard him. Just back it up. Just give me a minute.
Best tab target combat you will find in an MMO. There is no greater MMO than WoW when it comes to combat. Not just combat.
Okay, we're just gonna say that he's talking about tab target only, right? He's only talking about tab target. That still probably wrong, but like, the way he said it, it made it sound like the Black Desert wasn't even on like the list for it. Is
combat. The world is beautiful. There is a ton to explore. There's more to explore in
retail WoW is definitely has aged very well. It looks great. Classic WoW looks like dog shit.
World of Warcraft than in any
I'm just being honest.
other MMO that I have played.
Tab target.
A large amount.
Yep, everybody put your
You
pitchforks.
can wander around the world and
away.
happen across toys that have a number of different effects. You can find transmog, you can find gear, you can find pets, you can find just random quests. There is just more content to consume, more content to just actively search out that isn't necessarily just the main story or that.
The thing I find annoying about retail WoW is that there's almost just too much to do. I watch a lot of WoW creators, like Mitch Jones and stuff, but like everybody's playing classic. Like retail WoW just looks like you're so far behind in expansion. It just looks like there's just too much to do and there's just too much stuff to know. Like, and I just don't. Like, short of just like deep diving into it and spending the next 8 months of my life trying to figure out every single piece of the game, I don't know, man. It just seems like kind of a big hill to climb as like a new player.
It just doesn't just push you from point A to point B for the sake of pushing through the main scenario just to get to the next area. There, you are actually physically rewarded for exploring and taking the time to find new things. That is something that I genuinely think sets.
I wish, okay, I wish BDO rewarded players for exploring and like finding new things and like giving us cosmetics and stuff and like searching around and figuring stuff out within the game. It's something that they did when the game started and they have stopped doing it. Now everything that comes out is known. There's no like extra like hidden stuff in the game. You're not like trying to figure out new recipes, and you're not getting like I wish there was like hidden outfits that they didn't tell us about that they patched into the game that like players could just discover by like doing a random quest or like killing a certain amount of mobs and getting a title. You know what I mean? Like there's just not enough of that stuff in BDO.
WoW apart from its competition. This is one of the reasons that I always end up going back.
And Destiny 2 was really good with that when it like with certain things like in Forsaken, it was amazing with it, so good. And then it was also good with that with Whisper of the Worm. Absolutely incredible.
Back to it whenever there's a new patch, because I love exploring everything the game world has to offer, and then it has what is arguably the best PvP system in a tab target MMO. The open world PvP, the instance battlegrounds, the instanced arenas. This game has one of the, okay, I'm not gonna say one of the most competitive PvP.
Honestly, he's talking so much about PvP. Nobody in WoW PvPs, bro. No one cares about PvP in WoW. Like, short of like the giant Makura tournament they did that everybody was sweating on, no one gives a shit.
PvP scenes it used to, but it still has a fairly competitive PvP scene, a very competitive PvE scene with the world firsts that happen. The raids and dungeons in this game are probably some of the best that I've come across. Now, Final Fantasy XIV has a very different type of raid system present, whereas WoW's, I think, is difficult in a different way. And more than that, I think WoW's dungeons are some of the most fun that I've ever played through, because there are so many things that you can do to speed up or slow down or avoid entire packs of monsters, to go around and find routes.
I would generally agree with that statement based on what I've seen between WoW and Final Fantasy. I really like how I like WoW's dungeons and raids. They look great. Final Fantasy looks like it has better, like, I don't know, some of the bosses, the bosses and the graphics in Final Fantasy are better, but like as far as the mechanics go, I don't know, man. I really like this like large scale aspect of WoW. Like you've got this many people in this raid, and like if people fuck up, you gotta wipe and like start over. It's just fun. It just looks really cool. You know what I mean?
That you didn't even know existed the first time. This allows for the dungeoning experience and even the raiding experience.
My understanding about raids, if you want the best raid experience in the MMO genre, probably Lost Ark.
To not just be a straight linear path.
Lost Ark's got its own issues though.
Before we talk about any additional MMOs, I want to take a moment here to thank our incredible patrons over on Patreon who allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are absolutely incredible, and I cannot thank you all enough for the support. Now let's keep talking about MMOs. Another MMO that is very much like this is the Elder.
It's fun until one dipshit keeps wiping you for 3 hours. First time?
Scrolls Online. The Elder Scrolls Online utilizes
ESO made the list, boys.
segregated zones, much like Final Fantasy XIV, but there's also a lot to do.
This is the MMO bite
out in the world. You can find quests out there, you can find NPCs out there that just have the most random quests. The entire game is voice acted. There are individual...
Oh, Tony, this is your favorite person. We got Tony Two Ghost here.
Zone-wide quests that happen, while also featuring characters from other...
You guys should look up Asmongold Tony Two Ghost. You're welcome.
Other zones that continue to be an ever-present force in the story, the overall overarching narrative. Combat in the Elder Scrolls Online, and I know this is gonna upset some people, because whenever I say this, it upsets some people, but the Elder Scrolls Online, while it does have an action combat system, also suffers from having a very slow, very clunky action combat system, because you need
He's gonna get eaten for that. He's gonna get eaten for that comment.
Animation canceling.
God
and
damn,
I'm
bro.
just not very
I can't fault MMO Bite for not having some hot takes, bro. We love the hot takes, bro.
good at that. Now,
He's not wrong. I'd be honest. Generally agree. I played a little bit of ESO. I played a little bit of BDO. Picked BDO because the combat felt better. Also, I could see the pores on my character's skin.
The Elder Scrolls Online also has a lot of competitive PvE and a lot of competitive PvP. PvP in the form of like the Siege Wars, PvE in the form of dungeons, raids, and more than that, the public dungeons that are available, which allows for you to enter.
Yeah, the action combat it obviously just doesn't measure up to BDOs, man.
Already pre-existing dungeons that other players are doing and have other players join in your dungeon that you're doing.
As far as combat goes, though, I feel like it's better than most tab targets, though, right? Like,
to help you without even necessarily being in your party. This promotes a style of community interaction and participation that isn't present in other MMOs, and I think is one of
it's better than Ashes. Yeah, it's better than a game that literally is in pre-alpha.
the standout features of the Elder Scrolls Online. The world in ESO is very beautiful. The character models are pretty good. They're admittedly not on the same level as Skyrim. They're, I think, a little more toned down, a little easier in terms of
I think that the graphics in ESO look pretty good. They're not as good as BDOs.
performance.
I just feel like ESO competes with BDO as like a general like thing. It's definitely more of a theme park style MMO than BDO kind of was when honestly now they're both kind of very similar in terms of like I think it with regards to combat, BDO wins. Graphics, BDO wins again. Questing, ESO wins. No question. But honestly, that bar was low.
optimization. Overall, I've been playing a lot of the Elder Scrolls Online in the last few months, and that's mainly because I've really enjoyed the Necrom expansion, a game that never really has real expansions, but just continues
Hey, that's us!
to add on additional content, piece.
Wait, whoa. I still actively play and genuinely recommend in 2024. Why are you level 59? Grinding at ancient weapons. Without succession. Wait. What?
To add on additional content piece by piece is Black Desert Online. This is
Oh, Jesus. The evasion rolled. Holy shit.
piece is Black Desert Online. This is the MMO that has
This dude's level 59. Okay, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He got power leveled, and now he's trying to do his awakening quest. I'm just gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Never mind the fact that he didn't get power leveled all the way to 60, but set that aside. We still have evasion roll unlocked. We couldn't have like locked our evasion roll, finished the quest, and then recorded some video, bro.
retained the title of the best looking MMORPG for the last
That's right.
4, 6, 7 years, however long BDO has been available globally for. Now, I will note real quick, the Elder Scrolls Online is buy to play. It's not free to play. It's not pay to play. Black Desert Online is also buy to play, which means they both have
You say buy to play, but they give video away for free like all the time. There's a free trial and all kinds of stuff.
a
Also, what is this horse, bro? Come on, man. They give you a free dream horse when you log in now. Like,
set box price, but you don't need to pay an additional monthly subscription to play them. Black Desert Online has the only world that allows for seamless traversal without
technically buy to play, though. He's not wrong.
loading screens. The game is completely open world. You'll encounter tons of players out just doing stuff, life
True.
skilling, grinding, and that's pretty much it. Like, I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of stuff to do in Black Desert Online, but at the same time, it feels like there's not really much to do in Black Desert Online, at least in terms of variety. Okay, I've
He's got his succession here, so he definitely finished it.
put in probably like
Wait, did he though? He's level 56. Wait,
3,000 hours.
wait. He's level 56 and has this succession quest line done. Why was he level 59 before without it done? He's in pre-awakening there. Yeah, but he's got his succession. I can see the rocks and stuff coming up. He made two different characters. There's only one explanation. There's two different characters. But no, it's the same. It's the same guy. He's in. I'm confused.
Into Black Desert Online over the last, I don't know, 6 years. I always go back because every, I don't know, 6 to 8 months they release a new class.
Also, the screen
and the new
shake
class
is not on.
just so much fun
I mean,
to
the
play.
screen shake's on.
It's beautiful. Its
It
combat style is original.
Yep.
The characters look even better. The animations look even better. The special effects look even better. Like, every class is an upgrade over every class that came before it. And they know
That is correct.
that players are going to continue to come back to try
That is why Kunoichi sucks.
these out, because the new classes are, or at least tend to typically be, fairly innovative in what they offer. Like, I remember coming back and playing the mermaid
See, now
class
we're
that like
59
surfed
again.
around on waves and shit. The classes in this game are unlike the classes you will
The evasion roll. Holy shit.
find in any other MMO. Now, this game also has the best character creator in the genre. It has the best graphics in the genre. It has the best action combat in the genre. It
Big true.
has better almost everything
Saved.
than you will find that in any other MMO, with one of the few exceptions being the story, which is fairly incomparable to
I will sum the Black Desert story up. There it is.
Final Fantasy XIV, to World of Warcraft, and even WoW's story isn't that good. And the Elder Scrolls Online, which, just quick segue, the Elder Scrolls Online has a very good narrative. Another game
We heard a lot of bests there, guys. That was a lot of bests. BDO's looking really good, boys.
with an interesting narrative is Waven. Now, Waven is probably an MMO you haven't heard of, and that's because
Who?
it's not technically in the same vein of MMO as Final Fantasy XIV, ESO, BDO, or WoW. It is an MMO, but at the same time, it is typically played either by yourself or with a few other players.
Say that last bit again.
Now, typically played either by yourself or with a few other players. Now, you will see hundreds of people out in the world. When I played through this recently, I saw probably a grand total of 400 to 600 people over the course of just a couple day period. They were all talking, they were all engaging enemies, they were all grinding,
Not bots. Couldn't be Lost Ark.
completing quests. It was a lot of fun.
Honestly, nowadays couldn't be WoW either.
It was something that I hadn't seen done in a little while. Typically when I play MMOs, even MMOs that are generally played together with other people, everyone is doing everything on their own anyway. No one's really interacting. This is an MMO that is typically
What's the name of this game again? What did he say it was called? I've never heard of this in my life.
very good narrative. Another game with an interesting narrative is Waven.
Waven. Is Waven on Steam? It is on Steam. This thing? No, it's Weaving. Is that the same thing? Yeah, Waving on Steam. That's it. Waving. All right, now that we know, let's run the video back.
Now, Waven is probably an MMO you haven't heard of, and that's because it's not technically in the same vein of MMO as Final Fantasy IV, is typically played either by yourself or with a few other players. Now, you will see hundreds of people out in the world. When I played through this recently, I saw probably a grand total of 400 to 600 people over the course of just a couple.
Every single player passed by him. Every single one. And then some of them twice. Some of them walked back by. He counted those players too.
Day period. They were all talking. They were all engaging enemies. They were all grinding, completing quests. It was a lot of fun. It was something that I hadn't seen done in a little while. Typically when I play MMOs, even MMOs that are generally played together with other people, everyone is doing everything on their own anyway. No one's really interacting. This is an MMO that is typically played by yourself, but also had people interacting and doing stuff. Like, it was.
How did Lost Ark not make the list, but this did?
A very weird culture shock.
How did this...
Games that are built to be played together aren't, and games that aren't built to be...
I also didn't see Guild Wars 2 got outpaced for this. Where's Maple Story?
Played together are. Now, Waven is a turn-based, grid-based MMO where you deploy your character onto a grid-based field and summon one of numerous different characters to aid you in battle against the enemies, to complete quests, to level up, to recruit new enemies, or not enemies, allies, additional units for you to deploy. It utilizes segregated zones. There are a lot of zones to visit and to explore. The game is very, very difficult. It is very...
Guys, it's not an ad. It's not an ad. He doesn't have hashtag ad. He didn't say ad. There's nothing in the description that has like a link or anything. This is not an ad. This is legitimately like a recommendation. I'm happy that Black Desert made the list, guys. I'm like genuinely, I'm just happy that BDO made the list. I'm being honest. Just kind of crazy, bro.
Very challenging. There's a functional PvP system. There is a lot.
But the fact that BDO made the list and then this also made the list, we're just gonna pretend he got one wrong, right?
The PvE.
I've never played Waven. I've never heard of Waven, but I'll be honest, this does not look like a traditional MMO
game
here.
That I think is unlike any other, really. Like, of all the games included in this video, this is the one that truly stands out to me. And that is because all the other MMOs are the same thing. This game isn't. Now, this game isn't necessarily going to appeal to everyone.
Well, that's what makes them MMOs. They're all the same genre because they're MMOs. This doesn't really look like an MMO.
But it is free to play. It is.
Where's the raids? Where's the dungeons? Where's like the massive multiplayer aspect?
Available on Steam right now, and it is also cross-platform. Those games completely suck. Final Fantasy XIV is by far the best MMO. Why do I even bother?
I like MMO Byte. I think he makes good videos. I don't know about Waven. I've never personally played it. Here's the video right here, guys. I honestly, I don't know. I'm glad that BDO made the list, though. I can't believe Lost Ark didn't make the list. That's a little strange to me. Little strange to me, for sure.